Kimberly Bonet here. Yeah, man. As you could see from the intro, me been on a trip. How come when I try a Jamaican accent, it sounds like I'm Irish or something? I'm giving leprechaun. I don't mean to do that.
Yeah, you wanted a million and you show it. What you want isn't really that important. You've been on my mind.
Hello, hello. I am Kimberly Bonet, and as you can see from the intro, y'all, I went somewhere. I did. And it's a solo trip. Like, who do I think I am?
Let me see your wallet, man.
You know what I'm saying?
Because it gotta be bad, motherfucker.
Bad motherfucker on it.
By the way, this is not about my trip. This is actually just a sit down chit chat. Ooh, I hear my ice rattle. There we go. As I was saying, I took my first international solo trip. Like, what? And I know a lot of women are doing that, especially the younger girls. Let me tell you, these young girls are taking off. I mean, to me, they're getting a jump start on doing life right. I don't know if it's the internet, YouTube, or what is happening that they know to get in there and start living life early. I've got some older friends, I've got some older friends, and when I ask them about regrets in life or things they wish they had done or things like that, never have they ever said, I wish I held back a little bit more. I wish I, didn't do so much. But all of that being said, I'm today years old, just doing my first international solo trip, and y'all, I loved it. And I kid you not, I tried to talk myself out of it. Girl, you thinking about going on a solo trip? Like, what? You got friends. You can always go with your friends. No, I had other excuses of, well, it's not that safe. Like, come on, Jamaica, all those islands, they are not safe. A former president even called some of these places whole countries, and I don't think it's a coincidence that most of those places are very well populated by melanated people. So, you hear about all the crime and the things that go on with that, but I honestly had to sit back and think about it. In my job, once upon a time, a kid would pull the fire alarm, tee hee, big joke, we get a little time off from classes, whatever. The false alarms hit different now. And every time they do, it's kind of like there's this, I've talked about it before in a previous video, but there's this sense of, oh dear, is it us? Is it here? Is it now? That kind of happens, but you still kind of go through the motions of doing what you know you have to do. So can I really say that America's all that safe? I mean, listen, we've got issues at schools, issues at the movies, issues at the mall, outdoor cons. I mean, like, I'm not hearing all of that from these whole countries the way I'm hearing about it from America. And don't get me wrong, I love America. I am an American. But honey, we are flawed. We're all flawed. So no. So me trying to say, I don't know how safe it is and think it was just an excuse, and I had to see it as such. And I decided, you know what, girl, get up. Get up, get up, get up, go and do it. And I did. And I have no whatsoever regrets about it at all. And this was not a vacation where, I did a whole lot of kicking it and partying. In fact, I didn't go to a club at all this time in Jamaica. I've been to Jamaica before. So let me back it up just a little bit. I knew for my first solo trip, I kind of wanted to go somewhere where I would blend in more. So I wanted to go where the melanated people are, because obviously I'm melanated, even more so now that I've been on vacation. I don't think it shows. I'm looking in the viewfinder. Yeah, I don't think it's really showing on camera, but I got a bit of a tan there. Oh, I tell you what else I got. I don't know if this gonna show, but the mosquitoes there, oh, they are vicious. I have not been bitten like I was bitten in Jamaica since I was a little girl in Mississippi. And when I tell you, them Mississippi mosquitoes, they ain't nothing to play with. Like, literally, I'll never forget. I was in the bathroom, washing my hands, doing whatever, and I see this shadow, and I look up. A mosquito, y'all, had flown by the light bulb and cast a shadow. Kid you not, I'm not making this up. People don't believe it. If you're from the South, you probably know, but by and large, people are like, a mosquito cast in the Seattle, girl, ain't that a bit much? No, kid you not. But those Jamaican mosquitoes, I don't know if it is showing up, but all up and down the left side of my arm. So I decided I'm going to wear this shirt. Obviously, I like butterflies, but I'm wearing this shirt because it lets this side out. Why did they only bite me on the left side, you ask? Because that's the side that was facing the ocean when I was out to dinner. And I thought I had done a good enough job of fanning and beating them away. No, clearly not. They work like pickpockets or something. You know how one distracts you and the other one does the work? That must have been what was happening. So while I'm sitting here fanning this one, another one came up and bit me good. But anyway, that is not what I'm supposed to be talking about. It don't take nothing but a little bit for me to get distracted. I'm wearing a half-seas today. Grr, it's biting. But anywho, so after trying to talk myself out of going on this trip, I went ahead and booked the thing last minute, and it was not very expensive at all, especially for a last minute booking. But I stayed at Baja Principal. I think that's how it's pronounced, Principe, I don't know. But it was a wonderful time. Now, the hotel itself could have used a little updating or whatever, but I'll be honest, I didn't spend much time in the hotel room. I spent my time on the beach. I spent my time by the pool. I spent my time very much being me, but in a wonderful, beautiful, contemplative place. Like I just sat and I thought about a lot of things. Honestly, ladies, if you've never gone on a solo vacation, it is a wonderful time to just sit and reflect. There's something to be said about being still. You know, whether you look at it from a religious perspective or otherwise, there's just something about being still and just thinking and appreciating and seeing something so much larger than yourself. So a lot of my thinking would occur as I'm sitting by the ocean and just listening to the waves and all of that. Like a lot of us, we pray for things. We pray, but we don't really just kind of meditate on things. And I don't mean the yum kiore. I mean the just sitting still and listening. To me, that is a form of meditating. You're just receiving and listening and thinking, and I did a lot of that. And some of the things that I thought about were friends. Well, the greatest thing I thought about was friends, and who should be my very best friend, of course, is myself. Now, it's kind of strange because in my job, I'll hear kids, I'll give them a new task, and they're trying something for the first time, and they don't get it. Duh, it's the first time. And so they'll be like, oh, I'm so stupid, or oh, I don't get it, oh, I'm never gonna get this, or whatever. So first, I, of course, talk about the power of yeah, you don't get it yet, practice it. But I also have a whole big thing where I talk to kids about, man, would you have a friend that just said to you what you said to you? Would you? No, you wouldn't. And so I say that, I teach that, and I honestly believe it here. But here, I am harder on myself than anyone else could ever be. And don't get me wrong, there's something to be said about holding yourself accountable, surrounding yourself with friends who also add an element of accountability. But there's also this harshness that a lot of times we as women have. You never hear men having it. You know, we'll be thinking about, oh, is my eyelash right? Oh, I better have. You know, I did a video, even a Shein video, where I had something in my eyelash. And I made a whole thing of pointing out the fact that I had something in my eyelash and that my hair wasn't right. I don't see men doing that ever. So why we do that, I do not know. But I was thinking about that and I'm like, yeah, I need to lighten up on myself. Even more recently, I did a video where I was joking about someone who I greatly admire. But what I said itself was not at all bad, but it concerned me because I thought, oh, someone's going to pick up the ball, they're going to run it with it, they're going to cause an issue, or they might go back and say something. And let me tell you about that. The very thing into which we feed energy is the very thing that grows. So my being concerned about it, I'll be honest, there were actually 2 people who gave me some feedback, like just basically shut me out about that. But overwhelmingly, the response about that has been, no, you're being hard on yourself. No, I saw it for what it was. It was just a joke. It was whatever. Listen, I was just getting ready to delete that video. Just bring it on down, like, forget it, because I don't know if people will receive it in the spirit that it was given, and along came a new subby. It's the weirdest thing, I'm telling you. You get sent people right on time. This new subby literally said, hey, I'm just into your new video, cracking up. And it's funny that she said that. And I literally responded back. I was like, really? Because I was rethinking that whole thing there. And she's like, no, it was funny. She gets it. As I said before, my other friends have mentioned, girl, we get it. You're being too hard on yourself. And I've heard that more than a few times throughout my life. So it's just time for me to just receive that and understand that hey, there have been several videos where I've been like, hey, this person is good. They did whatever. And that one little bit, and it isn't even what I said so much as it's the idea of someone coming along and putting 100 on 10, making it a much bigger deal than what it is. And like I said, the very thing you feed into is the thing that happened. Only 2 people have seen it in that negative light, and everyone else has been so positive. But that being said, I'm sitting on the ocean and I'm still thinking, about accountability and friendships and all these wonderful things. Now, as I'm out on the ocean, I start getting hot. And so I thought, let me go on back up to the pool area. I do, and I'm splashing around, and I see a woman who is in an embarrassing situation. I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, okay, her friend is there. I see the woman, I see the friend. See the woman, see the friend. Surely the friend is going to say something. Look at the woman again, see the friend. Now this woman is having the time of her life. She's dancing. She's happy. She's twerking. She's, hey, the DJ is playing all these wonderful songs. And I immediately go from this mood to down a little bit. I see it, and let me just tell you. So what happened was she's twerking, and I see this white string hanging when she's bending over dancing. And I thought, oh my gosh, say something. Oh, please, her friend, see it and say something. So initially I'm thinking maybe her friend doesn't see it. Maybe she's too close to see it because her friend is right there. So, you know how they say you can't see the forest for the trees. Maybe she's so close, she can't see this happening. I whip out my phone, I text my daughter. I'm like, is this something I should tell her or no? And the reason I say that is because there was a time I was at Aldi and I see this young lady, she's picking out avocados. And she's like, ooh, this is a nice green one. This is a nice green one. And she's talking to her toddler who's in the cart. And so as she's saying that, I'm kind of like, well, those are gorgeous. But the darker they are, the more close they are to ripeness. But you got to be careful because they go from 0 to 100 in 1.2 seconds, right? So I kind of tell her that. And she looks like, why she talking to me kind of thing. It was weird. But she'd already had like 2 or 3 very green ones in her cart. And I'm thinking if she wants to eat an avocado, you got to go for the ripe ones. So after she gives me that look, honey, I just walk away. I don't say not near another word. I see her later, and what does she have in her cart? She ain't got them bright green ones in the mouth. She got those dark ones. But does she say anything like, hey, appreciate it, thanks, or even just give me a kind gesture? No, she stays in that mean era. So while I earlier applauded young women for going out, they kick it, whatever, some can be brutally brutal. We'll just say it like that. Or unappreciative. Maybe I should say that. Some don't appreciate input. So that in mind, I text my daughter because this is also a young lady. And I'm like, should I say something or whatever? And I don't get a response fast enough. The lady is still twerking. Like now it's starting to genuinely bother me. Why is her friend not saying anything? Because at this point, I'm pretty sure her friend can see it. Not only can her friend see it, she's got a video camera out, y'all. And so I walked over to the woman and I was like, hey, I don't know if it's from your swimsuit, Lion. I don't know if it's from your swimsuit, but you've got this white string hanging out. And as soon as I said it, I felt terrible because here she is, she's having the time of her life. She's dancing, she's engaging, she's she's doing her thing, and here I come with this old nasty negative news. This ain't like the avocados. This is just bad doggone news. And she stops, and she immediately walks off. She doesn't say another word. She doesn't look at me. She doesn't look at her friend. She just walks off. I don't look at her friend either. I go back to my spot and I sit down. She comes back a few minutes later, and she's standing in front of me, and she's like, "Can I talk to you, girl?" You're not finna stand and introduce the words. "Can I talk to you for a second?" So yeah, I get up, and as soon as I do, she hugs me. She puts me in this warm hug, and she was like, "I could tell that was hard for you to say." She said, "I could see it. If I felt it, I could tell it, whatever, and I want you to know I appreciate it." And I don't even know this woman from a can of paint. Do not know her name today. Never told her mine. And we're just sitting there hugging it out. Here we are. We're hugging it out. And, she goes back to her spot. I go back to mine. And I'm thinking, oh, thank God. That's how that went. It could have gone a whole nother way. But that just got me thinking even more about friendships and how much I value the few friends that I have. When I was younger, I had beaucoup friends, hey, and we did everything. And then as life began to life on and lessons began to, deepen for me, I realized that if I have exactly one good friend in life, man, I've got a lot going on. I will say that after she and I hugged it out, she went over to her friend and they began to have what looked like an animated conversation. And that was too hard for me to watch. So I got up and I left and came back to my room. But it just got me thinking about friendships in general and the people we surround ourselves with, and even about being our own best friend. When I tell you all, I had an amazing time in Jamaica all by myself. I'm not exaggerating or kidding at all. I don't remember if it was a meme or what it was, where some woman was saying, "Let's stop romanticizing solo trips and let's stop pretending that these solo trips are a good time when they're not." She has it 100% wrong. There's another saying about, if you can't change your friends, then change your friends, right? And so I wonder if that woman is her own best friend. I wonder if she has some changes to make. Because listen, I feel like we're all evolving, or at least we should be. We should all be evolving. And I'm not going to say we should all be on this vast journey to keep improving ourselves, because I feel like when you keep saying you got to improve yourself, you got to be better, I feel like you're saying that where you are and who you are right now isn't good enough. So you got to change this and you got to make it better. When will that stop? But there can be some evolving. There can be some areas where, okay, who I was there, I can do something different here. Not even necessarily better, because honestly, there are things through which I went in my 20s and 30s that I wouldn't change for anything in the world. Would not change them, because those lessons bring me to where I am now. I wouldn't even go back to my 20s and 30s unless I could take the brain back that I have now. Now, so often I get up in these knees, it's like, "Heifer, you show?" You show, heifer. But no, by and large, I am very content with who I am today and where I am today. But there's still some more experiences. I should say that. There are more experiences that I would like to have. And man, this solo vacation definitely top this first solo international vacation, I should say, because I'm going to have more. It was such an enlightening, wonderful experience. I'm not hyping it up at all. In fact, I don't think I can do enough to say how great it was. It's so strange. It's so unlike me, and yet it is the new me, baby. This was just my first solo international trip. I'll be going on more. I will be going on many more, God willing. Like, I enjoyed it just that much. I don't have to get up when someone else wants to get up. I don't have to go. Like, I made some plans and I did a few things. I actually planned on more than I ended up doing. This trip has just been such an eye-opening, enlightening, wonderful trip, focus really on friends. And of course, starting with the one who should be my bestest, goodest friend. You know what? I had someone tell me, as an educator, you should try to do your best to speak well and, articulate and all of those things. And yeah, so what do I think about that? Anyway, you should be looking to have more good or better conversations with your friends. You should look to that to see about deepening that level and really feeding yourself the things that you need. I'm telling you, this trip, it was beautiful. Will all of my trips be this deep? I seriously doubt it. But just having this depth and seeing more into myself, y'all, it was a beautiful thing. So, all of that said, what is my takeaway? My takeaway is, if not with your outside friends, then with yourself, have those deeper conversations and find out what is it that you're really about? What are you really wanting? What do you want to achieve or accomplish? And let me tell you, something I've decided to stop saying, because when I came back, I started checking my emails. And I keep getting a couple of emails, not a lot, but a couple of emails where people are asking my advice. They're usually younger women. I can tell by the vibe. A couple have stated their age, so I know they're younger. And then just from what they're saying about their 2-year-old and things like that, and how their children can be stressful. Because, honey, you better not be my age with it. I mean, it's possible. But here are my thoughts on that. At first I was saying, oh, don't send it to my email. I'm hoping for business inquiries and things like that. That's what I want. That's what I've been hoping for. But I don't know that what I want is also what's intended for me. So I do know what's for me is for me. But I don't necessarily know that what I want is what's for me. Is that making sense? So I don't think I'm going to say that anymore. Will I be able to read all of the emails, respond to all of the emails? I don't know that to be true either. But I know that I'm just going to walk in the path that's laid out for me, as opposed to wanting this to be my path. So don't send me those emails and da-da-da-da. I'm going to walk in the path that's laid out for me. But that being said, I do also want to say that there's another woman, and here's my guess. I'm guessing that those emails are coming to me because I'm a woman of a particular age, and they're thinking, oh, you've lived these life experiences. Honey, probably. I've lived me about 11 different lives at this point, so probably. I probably got something on it. But I'm guessing that, me being a woman of a particular age is why those emails are coming to me. There still is another woman who does this, I think, fabulously. Her name is Umi DeSala Bold, and she's an older woman who also has lived many life experiences, and she would do these sister-to-sister episodes and things like that. Is it smart for me to refer someone, especially on the struggling channel? Probably not, but is it the right thing? I do think so, and so for that reason, I'm telling you about her. But yeah, let me wrap this up because I'm getting chatty. I've darn near cried a couple of times just even thinking about having to deliver bad news and thinking about friendships and all of those. And you know what? I hate it when people say that I'm an empath. I absolutely do not find that to be a compliment, because I feel like yes, there's a lot that goes on and a lot that goes wrong in this world. But when you refer to this person as an empath, you're basically saying that feeling that way is beyond human. And so I think that when I have those feelings and things like that, I'm just being a human, just a plain old fashioned human. And for those who don't feel it, I think they do. I really do. Because it's like this. If you have a crying baby and you put a dry, well-fed, happy, content baby next to that crying baby, that baby is also going to cry. It's not because that baby is an empath. It's because that baby is a human. We make these human connections and we feel the things that other humans feel, right? So I think that's more so what it's about. When you say one person is an empath, you're kind of downgrading the human factor of life. And I think we all put up these shields. We've all had some hurts and some traumas and some issues that make us want to shield up, right? So I understand that, but after coming back from this trip, I find that my shields are getting lowered, lessened. Yeah, I think I'm gonna let that be my close. So take the time to find time for yourself. And always take care.
Pack your bags and leave.